What's up, Michigan Nation? It's your boy TJ Ronin. You can find me on the socials at TJ_Ronin. And Michigan just landed its next portal addition. None other than big dog Trey Williamson, the 6'2", 315-pound defensive tackle coming from the Clemson Tigers. He is going to be a 6th-year player. He does have 1 year of eligibility. He played 5 years at Clemson, so he has the experience, has the size, grown man strength. I wanted to kind of show you guys what his game log looks like because there's something pretty interesting about it. Let's take a look. If you look, he got 2 sacks against one of the better offensive lines in the nation against Texas just recently in the playoff game. But this is a depth rotational piece, guys. This is going to be somebody. We're going to look at the depth chart. I'm going to show you a quick highlight of him. We'll break him down as a prospect as well as what he looked like coming out of high school and, as well as what he ranks by PFF. But this is a solid addition to the class. This is, Michigan wants to have that high rotation for the defensive line, 8 to 9 guys. This adds to that, especially when you look at who we added previously in Damon Payne, the defensive tackle from Alabama, the kid from, formerly from Belleville High School, now back at Michigan. But as you can see, he's going to get about, I'd say 10 to 20 snaps a game, which is exactly what you want. And I'm going to tell you guys, when we look at his grades at PFF, you're going to realize why Michigan wanted to get him. And the reason being is if you do give this guy 10 to 20 snaps a game in that rotation, he actually plays at a very high level. And I'll show you guys that once we get there. So let's take a look at a quick clip of him playing for Clemson. The reason why I cannot show you a larger sample size is because YouTube is a bit touchy with copyright. So we're going to see if this works. This is an 8-second clip. I'm hoping this doesn't give me a copyright hit, but we're going to find out. So let's just take a look. So here's what he could do. He's going to hold the line of scrimmage, shed the block, make the play. This is what you want out of defensive tackles. Defensive tackles who get locked up or if cannot shed a block and cannot clog up run lanes. Obviously, that's not what you're looking for. Trey Williamson actually does a sound job of holding the line of scrimmage and making plays. So that's what if you're wondering, like, what is Louis Esposito, what is Wink Martindale and Sherrone Moore looking at with him? Well, what they're looking at with him is a guy who could come in, give guys like Rayshon Benny a breath and allow this defensive line to stay fresh, because that's one of the strengths of Michigan, especially we all see what Wink Martindale's doing with these boys, crushing the game. Let's take a look at what his prospect profile looked like coming out of high school. He was a former top 100 player, guys, former top 100 player. And we already know this dude's the real deal because he was predicted Ohio State and never went to Ohio State. He went to Clemson, so he already hates those clowns. We hate those clowns. Guess what? We're now brothers. We all rock with Trey Williams. So again, my guy here is 6'2.5". They have him now listed at 315. I wouldn't be surprised if they get him up to about 320. And you'll see in the depth chart where I have him placed, the defensive line rotation. I want to give you guys a quick look at the Pro Football Focus grades, because I think this is where it gets really interesting. So if we look at his Pro Football Focus grades, you'll see in 2024, this is the key, is what I want to show you. 2024, he was actually ranked as the 53rd defensive tackle in the nation, guys, with 300 snaps, which gives you, like I was saying, that 10 to like 15 reps per game. Guys, he's performing at almost a top 50 level. And I believe that is what Michigan is really seeing out of Trey Williams, because now there are connections with Trey Williams to Michigan, which is why if you guys watched our recruiting roundup, or I think Thursday, I gave you guys the most recent update on Trey Williams likely coming to Michigan, because he actually has a connection with Quentin Johnson, our former safety at Michigan. They're actually friends. So I believe, along with that and former relationships that he's built with Michigan previously, I think is what helped propel him to Michigan. But again, like, the thing that we really need to focus on right now is his production in 2024. He's going to come to Michigan now. And let's be honest, Michigan's defense is better than Clemson's defense. So he's not going to be surrounded by more dogs, making his job a bit more easier. And I do think this is a sound addition to Michigan's defensive line haul. One thing for sure, and I'm excited to show you guys this, and we'll show you guys this after we look at the transfer portal class as a whole, is if we look at the depth chart, which we'll get to, but we'll look at it after we look at this entire transfer portal haul, which we'll take a look at right now. We have 8-9 guys in rotation for next season already. So I'm pretty excited about that. So let's take a look at the class. We got Trey Williams, obviously, just added in. Damon Payne, the other defensive tackle. So these are your 2 defensive tackles who are going to be a part of the rotation. You got Rayshon Benny and, Inaueta and and we'll get into that a little bit more in terms of Trey Pierce as well, showing up big time in the Alabama game. Justice Haynes was the big addition so far in the class. Michigan's still looking to add more players in the portal. We'll talk about that a little bit. Troy Bowles is the highly recruited blue chip player from Georgia who is now in Michigan. Looking to see him a part of the rotation next year. We got Tevis Metcalf, the pit bull corner. He's a pit bull corner, guys. I'm actually a big fan of Tevis Metcalf. TJ Metcalf, who I do expect to start next year, opposite of Rod Moore. I know Rod Moore hasn't publicly declared yet, but I just want to let you know I'm leaning. I feel confident he's coming back. We got Mikey Keene, the QB, who's going to be battling Bryce Underwood for week 1 starter. It's going to be an interesting conversation, interesting battle in the offseason. We got Brady Norton here, your developmental inside offensive lineman, who is Nets. Again, what Michigan's really going for is long-term growth and development from some of these guys. And that's why a lot of these guys have 3 years of eligibility. And then we got Donovan McCoy, the big X wide receiver, who's going to have a big role next season. And then we know we lost Owen Wayful, we lost Cody Jones. And, all of these departures, quite honestly, we look at these departures. I would have liked to see Cole Cabana used more. But outside of Cole Cabana and Wayful, it's just healthy. In my opinion, it's healthy rotation. It's healthy turnover. And it's just part of the game. It's what happens. So now let's take a look at what does our depth chart look like now. Because I think it's quite interesting, especially since we all saw the way we played against Alabama. And I think a lot of us became a lot more optimistic about the future of this defense, because we know guys like TJ Guy, guys like Trey Pierce, guys like Cameron Brandt, they look like they're ready to show up. Derek Moore had a hell of a game. So let's take a look at this. Is my opinion. This is a fluid, Stephen A. Smith, fluid depth chart. This is evolving. This is growing. If anyone sees any corrections, let me know in the comments. I'm always updating this thing. But for those who are unfamiliar with my depth chart, in yellow are areas I believe we still need upgrades. In blue are our freshmen coming in. And you know what? I don't have Nate Marshall again. So I got to add Nate Marshall right here. All right. So we got Nate Marshall. My bad. Someone corrected me on our last video on Nate Marshall. But that said, here's what it looks like, boys. And actually, it's a pretty sound depth chart. I think we would all agree we need to see an upgrade at the receiver position. And this is very interesting because what's going on right now, I'll give you guys an update because I will not see you until Tuesday. What's going on with the wide receiver position is we have some credit issues going on right now. And what I mean by credit issues, it's not that these kids don't have the grades, they do. It's just we all know that it's very challenging to get into Michigan if you are above a sophomore. If you are a junior, or if you are a senior but are not completed, like Skylar Bell, for example. Skylar Bell needs 1 more semester before he graduates, guys. And because he needs 1 more semester before he graduates, he is not able to come to Michigan until he graduates so he can become a graduate transfer. And that's the holdup with Skylar Bell. So if you guys want to know what's going on with Skylar Bell, in my strong opinion, would be at Michigan right now if, and that's the wide receiver from Connecticut, he would be at Michigan right now if he was able to transfer. But due to him needing 1 more semester, he can't, because if he was a transfer to Michigan, he won't be able to join the team until after spring ball. So he wouldn't be able to get acclimated to the offense. So it's a very frustrating situation. The other interesting one is our guy, Troy Stellato, the slot Y type, the Z type receiver, Y/Z type receiver from Clemson, who we're all very high on, who's actually very talented, very skilled, fast, good hands, strong run blocking. But see, he's also going through a bit of a credit thing where Michigan's looking to see how they can get him in through admissions. And it's this is something I want to talk about more on Tuesday. So be on the lookout for our Tuesday show, Michigan Wolverines Live at 8 p.m. on Tuesday Eastern time. Me and John will dive into this a bit deeper on like what I think needs to be done, because there can be things that are done, but it is what it is. Michigan is a high academic standard. It's always been that way. And Michigan prides itself on that. And, I'm here for it, but there are things Michigan can do to make it a little bit easier for themselves. We'll talk about that more on Tuesday. But this is where we are, guys. And the class is strong. So right now we're looking at another corner, Shaw, the transfer from Washington. I do anticipate Michigan's trending very well there. So then what I would do is I'd move Zeke Berry to the nickel. I'd move Zeke Berry to the nickel, and then guess what? These are no longer areas of upgrade in my opinion. Cody Jones actually just transferred out, so my bad. I got to update this. But even so, but yeah, I mean the class looks sound. So if we can add a wide receiver, and actually Michigan just offered the wide receiver from Appalachian State, who actually, in my opinion, boys, and he's a senior. In my opinion, he's better than Skylar Bell. So if we were to get him, I actually think it's actually addition by I guess subtraction, even though we never really got Skylar Bell. But we'll see if we can land the kid from Appalachian State. That'd be a nice get. That'd be a very nice get. So this is where we are right now. I got Trey Williams playing the 3 tech. I did move David Payne to the 0 tech because, guys, he's 6'4". He's about 315, 320 already. You give him 10 more pounds, he can play 0 tech with Trey Pierce. These two can rotate. We do need a true nose tackle. Trey Pierce is a true nose tackle, and he actually played pretty well. Maybe it's his time to shine next season. I think Cameron Brand opened a lot of eyes. He opened my eyes. I mean, I know Cameron Brand. I know, and our boy Juju. I know Juju's a big fan of Cameron Brand, but Cameron Brand showed up. Derek Morris showed up. TJ Guy showed up. Jayshon Barham was ripping off the edge. Our front seven looks strong, guys. It looks very strong. Rod Moore on the comeback. We got TJ Metcalf, who is very experienced and productive at Arkansas. We saw Jair Hill's locking dudes down. Zeke Berry's locking dudes down. We saw this against two very talented offenses. Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith did not do a damn thing against Michigan. So you move Zeke Berry or you bring Braden Hillman down, right? These types of we have the flexibility and versatility of this offense. I think we would all agree we need to see additions on the offensive line. We need an offensive lineman, guys. That's an interesting situation as well. We'll see where that goes. All right, so regarding David Gusta, I want to give you guys a quick update on that as well. David Gusta, Michigan is not pushing for David Gusta, the defensive tackle, number 6 ranked defensive tackle in terms of run defense. Michigan's just not pushing there. And Falele Fahime, the offensive tackle from Washington State, is really good friends with David Gusta. So that could have been a nice addition. I'm not saying we're not making a move for Fahime, but I don't know. It appears to be getting quiet. That's where we are there. And then the other offensive tackle from New Mexico State, Pete, I believe he's the one who, if I do look at this, let me see. I believe he's also, it's between us and another team. I'm trying to remember. I think what Wake Forest just got involved, or was that for FAMO? It doesn't matter. Point being is Michigan's got to put in work here. We got to push a little bit harder. On offensive line. I think we need at least one more offensive line addition. I thought Andrew Sprague played really good in that game against Alabama. I feel like Evan Link actually held his own. I left tackle. I was impressed to see it. Dude, Alabama's defensive line is skilled, guys. Like that is a loaded blue chip defensive line with real athletes. And our guys bully balled them. So we'll see what they can do. What I would love to see is us add a right tackle, move Andrew Sprague to left guard, although there is speculation that Giovanni El-Hadi will move to his natural position, which is left guard, and then maybe Andrew Sprague would slide into right guard. We'll see. These are the things we're going to talk about this offseason, this spring. Stick with us at the Voice of College Football. If you have not subscribed already, please subscribe. We got updates on Michigan football, team analysis, recruiting, all of it, portal, and we're also going to dive in a little bit deeper now that it's basketball season. Big Dusty is doing work for the Michigan basketball team, so we're looking forward to that. As you guys know, you can always follow me on the socials at TJ_Ronin, and hopefully there's going to be some more noise this weekend. Now, I don't have anything pending. Like, I'm not expecting anything at the moment, but things could change. I believe Shaw is going to be visiting, and then Michigan may be able to pull it out with Skylar Bell. I know Michigan's pushing extremely hard for Skylar Bell. I know that. They still want him, so we'll see what happens there. So as you know, guys, stay tuned. And it is always go blue.